Jamie and welcome to my cross stitching channel. Today is Tuesday, July 4th. So happy July 4th to anybody in the United States that's celebrating, and also to my Canadian friends. I believe Canada Day was on the 1st, I think. So happy Canada Day to you as well. I am wearing my Captain America shirt today. It's probably the most or only patriotic shirt I own, so but I hope that you are all doing well and you've had a good month. It's been right about a month since I've been here last. I had every intention of filming this on this last Saturday. My husband and I were running around like crazy doing errands and stuff, and by the time we got home we were just like totally exhausted. And then Sunday I started feeling really sick. I'm feeling better now. I don't know what that was all about. So I just figured since I had today off from work, I would just go ahead and film today. so I didn't want to wait too much longer to get this out. So I am here today for my official mid-year WIP parade. So this is just going to recap everything that I've done in the first 6 months plus a couple of days. I'll include anything up until what I did this morning in the numbers, but yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started because I've got a lot to get through and I don't have a ton of time. We're supposed to be doing a barbecue over at my in-laws, so I still have to make what I'm supposed to be making for that. It's planning. I'm good at it. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, I'm going to be showing, I guess technically I'll be showing 14 projects. But right off the bat, I did want to mention that I have decided to UFO 2 of my projects. I've decided to do that with I'll pop in a picture so you know which ones. North American Mammals, which is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart by Ciro Marchetti. And then the other one was Paris of My Dreams. Again, Heaven and Earth Designs, the artist is Leonid Afremov. So I decided to do that for a couple of reasons. I love full coverage, obviously. I've still got 5 more full coverages in my WIP rotation right now. But I am less a process stitcher and more a progress stitcher. And so seeing my full coverages that have somewhat of a decent amount done already, kind of not getting as much attention as I would like them to get because I have so many projects to spread my attention through, it was a little bit discouraging. And the full coverages that I have still going, the point of starting all of them was to finish them at some point. And I just feel like that might not happen if I have too many on the go. So I'm UFOing those for now. I feel pretty strongly that I'll come back to at least the North American Mammals at some point once I finish something else. I'm not sure about Paris of My Dreams. Feeling a little unsure about that one. I do really love Afremov's artwork. He did some really beautiful paintings. I'm not sure I want to do that project. I may end up pivoting and doing something else, so we'll see. So you will not be seeing those projects anymore for the foreseeable future until I can get some of my other stuff kind of done and out of the way. I'll go a little bit more over plans maybe at the very end, just what I'm planning to do with what I've got left going. So anyway, that is the first thing I wanted to mention. So first of all, before we do the WIP parade, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the finishes that I've had this year. Let's go back just a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and show the one start I've done, and then we'll go through all the WIPs. So the first thing I finished this year was Pina Colada Recipe, which is a chart by Stitchrovia. And this is my finished project. I stitched this on a 32 count black Lugana 2/2. I believe it was all 2/2. I think there were some fractional stitches in there, but mostly 2/2. That was my first one. I've had a plan of 4 finishes at least this year, and this was the first of the 4. Still love how that turned out. I really need to get these in a frame. Finishing is going to be a little bit more of a priority as we go. Obviously, finishing takes a little bit of extra funds and stuff to buy a frame and all of the stuff to actually get it finished. So I've kind of been holding off on that a little bit while I've been focusing on some other things financially, but we'll get there. So my second finish for this year was Lady Justice, which is a Mirabilia pattern. And here she is. I stitched her on a 32 count Lugana from Be Stitch Me in the color Evil Queen. Everything is called for. I think it's just DMC and then some metallics and then the beads. There wasn't too many specialty items for this one. 2 colors of metallic and 3 colors of beads, but there really weren't that many. So that was my second finish. And this one I am planning to have professionally done. Hopefully by the stitching store that I go to hang out with some of my friends sometimes. My LNS is Craft Center Fine Stitchery in Salt Lake, so I'm gonna see if they can do it. But I want her professionally done because I put a lot of work into her, and I'm scared that I might mess her up if I try to do it myself. But here's a little bit more of a close-up. You can kind of see the sparkle and the sword and those weights. My beading job wasn't awesome. I do feel like I could have done a better job, but I'm just gonna kind of chalk that up to experience, and I'll do better on the next one. So those are my 2 finishes so far this year. And then the start that I did this year was Legend of Zelda, which is a chart off of Etsy. And I also forgot to mention, for the comparison pictures, if I had it at the beginning of the year, I'm only going to show from the beginning of the year. I'm not going to do a comparison from the last time my last video in June, just because it's a lot of editing, a lot of time and effort. So I'm just trying to save myself a little bit of work. So let's see. So this one I will show the last time because I didn't start it, but the rest of them were started at the first of the year. So this one, since last time, I've put in 1,253. Sorry, my notes are down there. That was in June, and then so far this year I've put in 4,292 stitches total. So this is where we're at. I'm just leaving it in the frame because I'm planning to come back to it relatively soon. But mostly it's just those lines out to the side. I'll hold it in a little bit so you can see what I've done from last time. I'll probably do it up and down, that might be easier. So I've definitely done a lot more in the black. I've taken this side and started to go down each way. I believe I filled in another piece here. And then did I? Yeah, it's kind of hard to see because they're really dark, but there are some light greens that I started getting in there. So that's how far I am on that one so far. And this one is being stitched on 28 count, easy count fabric, 2/110 stitch, which I'm really enjoying. Just want to see if you could, just want you to see the colors. They look really cool. So that is Legend of Zelda. And that was my only start this year so far. I'll go over starts as well in the plans at the end. Okay, so we are to WIPs now. And I'm just gonna go all of my full coverage first, and then I'll do my not full coverage after that. So we are going to start with my oldest pattern, which is Tarotown 2. Ciro Marchetti design, or artwork charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Mine is stitched on a 25 count DMC Magic Guide fabric. In various places it has been 10 stitch, in various places it has been 1/1 full cross. I can't really decide what I want to do. So I have put in, since the first of the year, 10,509 stitches. And I'm going to show the before picture right here, because it is way too big now for me to do a side by side. And then this is where we're at now. So I did actually show this out of the frame in my last video because I was moving the frame when I finished a page. So I figured I would show it off. But really the only difference you're gonna see, that didn't help, is down in this corner over here. I actually came in and started the top and started filling in a bunch of that background. I believe the goal I would like to do for this one is to finish that third row. So that comes out to about 2 full pages left, maybe 2.5, which is doable. If I drop, if I'm dropping those 2 other full coverages, I should hopefully be able to focus a little bit more on this one. This is definitely something I want finished sooner than later. I'm gonna hold it in a little bit so you can kind of see some of the objects a little bit closer. So I am working on the third row of pages. Hopefully you can see that. I can't. So, I mean, a lot of these pages are really close to a finish. Gosh, this is very unwieldy. So like across this, that's a very small partial page. This is a small partial page. So the only full page I've really got is the one that's right here. And then I'm already halfway through that one. So I think I should be able to finish out the third row this year. I think there are 7 rows, I think. But the very bottom one, because I think there are 56 pages, so maybe there's 8 rows, but the bottom one is a partial page, I think. Loose threads hanging everywhere. Okay, so that was my first WIP. Number 2 is Beloved, another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. I just ruined part of my organization here. Okay. Mine is being stitched on a 28 count Lugana, mostly 2/110 stitch. This has gone back and forth a couple times as well, between 1/1 and 2/1. And since the first of the year, I have put in 5,927 stitches. And I do have more down here that's all black, but I haven't done anything down there. So I'm just gonna show this top part for comparison. I have gone a little bit under here with some of these gray stitches, but nothing crazy. So yep, just under 6,000 on this one so far. I do think I worked on this one in June. I've been filling, I took some of the days to fill in more of his face, because it started being very like stripes of colors almost, so it was easier to follow, easier to get some easy stitching in. So absolutely love how this is turning out. His face looks so cool. And I'm very, very close to the top of her head. Like, I've just been following like the stripe of colors on his cheek, and they keep like finishing right up against her head. So I've been trying to have a little bit of self-restraint and not just jump right down to where she starts. So, but I'm looking forward to getting some more progress on this one. All right, number 3 is another Heaven and Earth Designs. It's Mini Loyalty. Artist, oh sorry, on my last one the artist was Adele Sessler. This one is Cherie Gerhardt. As I said, this is a mini chart, and since I'm stitching it on a 28 count Lugana, mostly 2/110 stitch, I may be switching back, we'll see. And I've put in 3,294 stitches since the first of the year. It's kind of crooked. Okay. So that's where we're at from the first of the year. Like I said, just over 3,200 or almost 3,300 stitches. Hopefully there's a big difference on this one. Sometimes I feel like I do a lot, but it doesn't seem like it shows up. But I believe you'll see a lot of difference like over in these stripes. And then I did finish some pages over here, and then I filled in some more in the badger. So hopefully you'll be able to see all of that. Another one I'd really like to see finished, because I do have the other 3 in this series that go along with the Harry Potter houses. I would like them all to be done. So that is Mini Loyalty. Next is Realm of Middle-earth, extra large. This was a Tilton crafts chart that you can no longer get. It's been retired. I'm stitching mine on a 28 count Lugana again, but this one is 1/1 full crosses. And since the first of the year, I have put in 5,980 stitches. So that's where we're at from last time. I did work on this one a little bit. I started going up in diagonals up into this page. So I think I only put in a few hundred stitches, I think, to get a couple of these diagonals filled in. But I mentioned on my last video that I wasn't sure like where to go from this page finish that I had right here. And a couple of people were like, yeah, go in rings. And I'm like, well, duh, Lord of the Rings. So, so I'm going up to this page, and then I'm going to go, I believe, clockwise, and then go up and then clockwise again. So we'll see how that goes. I have a long ways to go. I think I'm maybe 1%, maybe not even a full percent in. I think it's like 0.8 something percent. But I still really enjoy seeing all the little features coming out. So that is Realm of Middle-earth. All right, so that is all of my full coverage. So yeah, it'll just be 5 full coverages for now. I wanted to be on the bandwagon, you guys. I wanted to be the person with a bunch of full coverage, and I really I wish I could be that person that just loves having a ton of full coverage on the go, but I just don't. So that'll be my full coverage from here on out until I finish something. So let's move on to things that are not full coverage. The first of which is my winter sampler, which is a Kooler Design Studio chart. I believe the artist is Sandy Orton. And mine is stitched on a 32 count Lugana. I always forget the color. I think it's ivory. 2/2, half stitches, quarter stitches, just whatever the chart tells me, that's what I do. So there's more like above, and there's that Santa Claus over there. I'm actually just gonna fold it into here. So this is where I've primarily worked since last time. So this is where we're at from the first of the year. I finished all the stitching on these 2 pages, so this break right here. So from here down, all the cross stitching is done. And I've done a significant amount of back stitch. I think even from last time, I've put in all the words on this page. I did the bookmark around these flowers. I had plans to come back in and finish this little bit and the candies in the gingerbread house, and I just never got around to it. But did quite a bit. This took me a good probably 2 full days of stitching, maybe 3, to get all those words and everything in there. I think from here I am gonna come back and just backstitch what's left right here, and then I'm gonna move over into the rest. I've seen a lot of Christmas in July posts on Instagram coming up, so I thought maybe I would jump in on that and move over to here where like the Santa Claus and stuff is. Do a little bit of Christmas in July stitching. So but I love looking at this one. Sometimes I'll just pull it out and look at it because it's so pretty. So that is my winter sampler. I'm tentatively wanting to get this one done by the end of February next year. There's, if you saw the chart, the mock-up, at the bottom, across the whole bottom, it's Christmas, but then there's a section for New Year's and there's a section for Valentine's Day, and then there's like a big like skater motif with Winter Wonderland written around it. So I think even if I don't finish all the back stitching, I could at least get the cross stitching, maybe. I mean, by February, that's how many months? So I've got 6 months left of this year plus another 2. That's 8 months for like 6 pages, but they're not like full coverage pages or anything. Like it might be a bit ambitious, we'll have to see, but I actually did do a lot of progress on that page, so I feel like I've at least got a good step into it. So we'll see how that one goes. All right, the next one is the Crowned Heart, which is a modern folk embroidery chart. Mine is stitched on a 25 count white opalescent Lugana 1/1 full crosses with, I think it's DMC color 92, which is a variegated green. I have added 2,220 stitches since the first of the year, and this is where we're at. So on my last video, I did mention I was feeling a little bit out of sorts with this one. I don't think the variegated thread is for me, but that's not to say I won't finish this one. I think I will finish this one, and it may even be that it's like the tone, because if I had like a medium tone of different colors, I think I'd be okay with that, because I just get concerned with the lighter tones not showing up. And so I have to like cut my floss very specifically, and it's a little bit much some days. But I mean, I have done quite a bit. I think I'm over the 10% mark now. The total that I have is 2,609. So I mean, that's not a small amount of stitches. But my one gripe too was that, not one, one of my gripes was that in this border, I did the lines separately, and I prefer the way it looks here, where I do like the 2 lines together so it's fading across the whole line. But I think I figured that with how similar the colors across the top are, if I just undid the inside line here, I could probably restitch just the inside, and so I wouldn't have to frog the whole thing, but we'll have to see. So I believe I did work on this for a day since my last video. That is the crown heart. This is my wedding sampler for my husband and I. Our anniversary is coming up fairly soon. I wanted this done by our first anniversary, but it's not gonna happen. Our anniversary is September 3rd, so I've only got 2 months. That's not enough time. Maybe it would be if I focused on this, only this, but I don't have plans to do that, so that's my crowned heart. The next project is Fruits of Plenty, which is another modern folk embroidery design. Mine is stitched on an 18 count white Aida with DMC color 820 and 321, which is blue and red. So this is very apropos for today. It looks very patriotic. So since the first of the year, I've put in 5,929 stitches. To hold this one without dropping it this time. Okay, so this is where we are at. Actually, this is where we were at from the first of the year. I'm not going to be able to put this together on the screen. So that's the before. And this is where we're at now. I do believe I worked on this one. Pretty sure it was over here. I worked on that during one of my stitchy hangouts with my friends Christina and Jen. So I'm pretty sure I have surpassed the 30% mark on this one. This one may become more of a focus as I finish some of my other stuff, just with how far I've come, and I really, really love this design. I'd like to see it done sooner than later, so I can get it up on the wall. My husband absolutely loves this one, which I find kind of funny. But every time I show it to him, he really gets excited about it. So almost 6,000 stitches into this one so far this year, which is pretty dang good. But yeah, I think since last time, I literally have just I finished this, or not finished, but worked on this triangle. I think maybe I put in a strand or two over there, but yeah, so that one's coming along really nicely so far. I love modern folk embroidery. That newest one, the stitch along that people are working on. Oh, this was the 2021 stitch along. I don't think I mentioned that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like that big building looking thing, the two-tone. If I can remember, I'll put it up on the screen what the title of it is, but I really love that one. I think I might give that one a shot next, so we'll see. All right, so second to last is Twisted Band Sampler, which is a chart from Northern Expressions Needlework. And I'm stitching mine on a 32 count white Lugana, 2/1 for, no, sorry, 2/2 for the cross stitching, and 1 strand according to the instructions for the specialty stitches, except the satin stitches. That was 2 strands. So I started the year with 7 bands. I'm gonna have to scoot back again. And I'm currently sitting with 12 bands finished. Holy crap, this is really long. It's hard to get it in the frame now. So that is how far I am. I did manage to get the next specialty stitch band done during June. I'll be quite honest, I didn't finish entirely until July. I think I finished it up on Sunday. But I am completely done with 12 bands, 5 left to go, and I only have like 2 spectrums of color left. I've got blue and purple. and then I will be done. And I have hit the bottom corner there, if you can see. I'll hold it in a little bit so you can actually see what I've done. So I did, let's fold that in a little bit. So I did that specialty stitch band since last time, and me being silly and not paying attention, I forgot that the edge of the green was the corner, and then when I did the blue, I was gonna have to square it off to the bottom like that. Fuzzies and dog hair. So yeah, I forgot I had to square it off, so I had done all the way down to a point like I did with the green, so I had to frog it a little bit and pull it back up. But yep, so I've got that first strand into the blue done. It's hard to focus on that. I'm trying to see if you can see the stitches. So there were only 2 stitches in this band, which was kind of nice, but also a little bit tedious because they were kind of small, so I had to do a ton of them. So on the outside of each band, there were rice stitches, and then in the middle it was just an eyelet stitch. So it went fairly quickly. It was just a little bit tedious by the end of it. So I'm glad I'm moving back into a cross stitch band again. I actually only have 2 specialty stitch bands left, so that's exciting. I will keep trying to get the monthly goal on that one moving forward to get it done by the end of the year. And then last but not least, the project that I have worked by far the most on since the first of the year. I have put in 19,234 stitches in the last 6 months. And this is Pandemic, which is a long dog sampler pattern. Mine is stitched on a 28 count Lugana in the color Helix by Picture This Plus, stitched with DMC color 939. Oh, and I also always forget to mention my twisted band sampler. I did the DMC conversion. The original pattern calls for like, I think they have like a Veriswa, maybe Veriswa silk, I think. But yeah, I did the DMC conversion. All right, so back to Pandemic. It is really hard for me to show this one because my fabric does not like to work with me. All right, so this is where we are at. I have found, as you can see, the bottom corner there. Decided to go ahead and work in the border so I could close it off. I have less than 2 pages to go. And I think I'm up over almost like 94% done. Full disclosure, this has been like the only thing I've worked on for like the last 2.5 days. I've been doing a lot of stitching on this one. When I get to like under 10%, it is super hard for me to want to work on anything else but what is super close to a finish. So that is where we are at, and this will be closest to a finish at this point. I think it's even surpassed the twisted band sampler. So I have already put over 19,000. I think I have about 5,000-ish left to go. Yeah, because that put it at 72,350, and I think there's like 77,200 something, 77,200. I will hold this one in a little bit because it's a little bit difficult to see from that far back. But that's where we're at from last time. So I finished off that whole page, and it's nice because now I can fit this part in a 11 by 11 Q snap. Hey, you can actually see the modeling a little bit in the fabric. This is a very like light gray blue fabric, and it is so hard. I can never get it to show up on camera, so that's that's exciting for me that you can actually see the modeling this time. So yeah, I finished, I believe in June I finished this whole page here. So like the break was right there. So everything like here down and over to this flower, that was all done in June. And then came over to start finishing off motifs over here. So I've got like this line all the way down, finished the fox. And then like I said, I came over here and I just worked in everything on this side down to the bottom so I could fill in both of the borders. And that's all that's left. So that is my last WIP. Soon to be a finish. So that is my mid-year WIP parade. Hopefully you could see the progress fairly well. I went through my last video and I believe I had good pictures for everything. So you know what I wonder? If I put this up against a white fabric, maybe you could tell. Do you see how much different that is? I hope you can see that, where it's like a blue-gray, but it looks white when it's by itself, or like a super, super light gray. But anyway, fixated on the fabric color. So total stitch count, not including my UFOs, the paper charts, because I don't count those, and not including my finished stitches, like my finishes, the stitches that I got to finish those. So far, I've stitched 57,385 stitches for the first half of the year. If you included those other things, I'd probably tack on another 10 to 15,000, maybe 10,000. So I'm up like 67,000-ish for the first 6 months. That's pretty good, considering I've had several periods where I didn't want to stitch at all. So anywho, I'm gonna go over plans just super briefly. So like I said, I've UFO'd those two projects so I can focus more on my full coverage. Probably the one that I'm going to be focusing on the most for the rest of the year is Tarotown 2. Like I said, I want to finish the third row across for sure. And that's going to be probably another at least 10 to 12,000 stitches to finish off. Yeah, because each page is in a Heaven and Earth design is about 8,000. So it actually might be more like 20,000 to get that. I don't know. It's probably not quite that much, but so the focus for sure for the rest of the year will be Tarotown 2. I would just like to make some more progress on some of my other ones. Beloved would be really nice to finish that page so I can actually see the top of the lady's head finally. Probably try for another couple pages on Realm of Middle Earth. I'm not sure about Mini Loyalty right now. And Legend of Zelda, that one was just started, so I don't have like a real concrete goal about that one, but it is for my husband. So I don't like gifts to kind of just take forever to get to the person, although that's what happened when I made my last gift for my mom. So best laid plans, right? And then for all of my non-full coverage, I kind of went over a couple of them, but Twisted Band Sampler and Pandemic finished for sure this year. That's definitely going to happen. My goal in July is actually to finish Pandemic, which is I'm very much on track to do that. Because in August, that's my birthday month, and I would really like to start one or two things for my birthday. And I've got my eye on a few different patterns already to start. So ones that I'm really excited about. So really right now I'm focusing on getting those finished. That'll push my WIP count down from 12 down to 10. Now that I've dropped those UFOs plus the two finishes, that would pull me down to 10. And that feels like a good number for me. Because, you know, I watch other people and they've got like tens or dozens or hundreds of WIPs, and if that's what makes you happy, that's awesome. I admire you for that. It gives me anxiety. So my hobbies are supposed to calm me down, not stress me out. So we'll pull it down to 10. And I think from there, it'll be a finish something, pull something new, finish something, pull something new. So in August, once I've got the Twisted Band Sampler and pandemic out of the way. And I might not have Twisted Band done completely by the time I get my starts going, but I'm probably going to start another Fancy Lady. I'm not sure which one. A few of them are calling to me right now, but probably a Fancy Lady, and then some other sampler type thing, or there's a pattern on Etsy that my husband really wants me to do because it's another Lord of the Rings themed one, but I do have some really cool plans for like the fabric and floss combo on that one too, so we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of my plan moving forward. Sorry this was less of a Flosstube update and just more of a straightforward thing, but I will be back the first part of August. I don't know when the first falls, so we'll see which day I end up coming back. It might be a couple days in. But I will be back for my monthly update, just a normal one in August, and we'll see what I get done during the month of July. So I hope you all have or had a wonderful holiday. I hope you all had or have a wonderful weekend, last weekend or the following throughout the month. I really truly appreciate every single one of you for coming back every time I post a video, for commenting, liking, subscribing, for doing all the things, and just making me feel really welcome in this community. So have a lovely rest of your day so far, and I will talk to you next time.